Good evening and early morning to our UK viewers, and I suppose good evening to our American viewers. We have one of our fellow Americans. I say fellow American like I'm American. You know what I mean. This is Tyflkwy's face,
Hey guys.
and the rest of Tyflkw as well. I presume it would be really awkward if it was just his face.
Yeah, that would be disembodied head if I green screen out everything, I guess, but
That would be quite funny in a way as well, though. That'd be scary. That would be scary, actually. Hey there, George. How you doing? I suppose really I'm going to pass it over to Tyflkw quickly because I reckon it would be good, as we've just seen the final, to get an explanation for really how this tournament was set up. Just start it off like that, so we can get a bit of background before we go into the games themselves.
yeah, I guess I was telling you before we were on, but I had posted on the forums 3 weeks ago, I guess at this point, maybe four, maybe a month at this point, that I was interested in hosting a tournament. I saw one in the closed beta, and I was like, I haven't seen anything since it came into open beta. May as well set something up. If nobody else is, I guess I will. I got a message from Tyflkw saying, hey, we're actually running one. We were just giving people a time to collect their decks, and I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So I went ahead and said, let's do an invitational top player tournament, showcase what the game is like at the moment and what the balance is, who's setting the meta. I've been an esports fan since StarCraft Brood War, into StarCraft 2, and a lot of other esports now, but I just really wanted to get something started for this Chronicle, and I think it's worked out fantastic.
I mean,
the first day made me want to cry a little bit. We had a couple of technical difficulties, hiccups, glitches. I was like, this is not good.
I mean, there's always going to be hiccups on the first day, and
Yeah.
apart from that, the casting was smooth. The games were amazing, and have carried on being amazing. It's just let's get hearts in chat for this dude, because I mean, one, he's got that beard, and secondly, he's just really gone out of the ballpark with this.
It worked out so well. And I mean, I had help from Tyflkw. I had help. He put all together all of those cards. We had Interjection did the video. He did all the overlays, and that was fantastic. You, Pakosco, and Bundy helping to cast. Mod Merchant helping to cast and gave feedback. We had Mod Priz who did those backgrounds for us. So I mean, it's been a huge group of people putting this together, so it's been exciting. All I was doing was contacting people.
I mean, hey, to be honest, networking is still a very hard part of the job, gotta be said. So let's move into the games, man. Let's move into the games. The first game, that was incredibly good. That was Merchant and Bundy casting that game.
3-0 over Creaky. I don't know if I expected that. I mean, I knew YX is a strong player.
Yeah.
But Creaky's done a good job. It was just, I don't know what else to say about it. He shut him down every game.
There was always a play. He was always at least 2 plays ahead. It was really interesting to see, because Creaky, whatever play he played, there was a counteract for that straight away.
Yeah,
just every time. And it's I mean, that was probably the most, actually, out of all of the games we've seen this evening, that was probably the most oh god, words. Wow, now I'm actually on camera again. I can't talk.
I don't know. I'm just over here stroking my beard.
Oh,
so you do your thing.
Man. Fuck it. I try to stroke my beard. It looks like I'm fondling pubes. I mean, God, I didn't need to say it like that. I suppose I could have left it. But I mean, it was probably the game where we saw the most. We saw the most constant and the most.
No, yeah, you're definitely right. Consistent plays.
Yeah, that's there we go. You could have said that about 5 minutes ago. Fuck. Yeah, exactly. The most consistent plays, but obviously the most prediction in plays as well from YX, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
He took it straight down, and
I'm excited to go back and see those games again.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was helping to set things up and getting screen share, making sure all of that was ready, so I didn't get to catch all of the game. And like by the time I got there, like game 2 was almost already done. So I'd love to go back and see.
I mean, at that point, unfortunately, at that point, I was sort of had it in the background, I was listening, and I was making the overlay, which was a bit of an issue.
Okay.
Stop touching your beard, please. I really don't want one person in the stream who strokes it. Well, what? CX? You're confusing me. Anyway, so okay, that was the first game out of the way. Second game was Glenn versus Wolf. I mean,
that one was a surprising game, man. Okay, so Merchant said Wolf 3-1 over Glenn. I went with, I think Glenn has the potential to take off a second game. Realistically, I was saying Wolf 3-1 as well. I just wanted to make a different thing, but
and I was totally
3-1 in Glenn's favor. I didn't see it coming. I mean, mad props to him. I know he's a good player, and obviously shows it here. But
I don't think anyone saw Wolf conceding more than one game, let alone three. I mean, we all predicted Wolf to win. I mean, if Glenn was going to win, I think we'd all predicted Wolf to take two of the games at least. You know, but
For sure.
Glenn coming out and actually dominating all of the games apart from the one he lost, of course. But he was dominating through and through. I don't think there was a play I would have made there. I mean, obviously he had to really think about his place because it is Wolf, and as we've always said, he is the guy with probably legitimately the most knowledge of the game as a player.
Probably.
By a long, well, not by a long shot. There are some very knowledgeable. He's the one that's been playing it and consistently been high for the. Not when I say high, I don't mean drugs reference. Obviously, I don't know.
No, obviously not.
Yeah, but on the leaderboards, he's always been up there, even from close beta. He's really been the most consistent, and he's the guy that's been pushing those decks. He's been pushing the meta. He's been pushing all of that.
And I wonder if that actually has something to do with just his playstyle being fairly well known. Glenn was able to prepare for it, and I know the guy prepared.
Well, they've been playing against each other pretty consistently for the last few days, as Glenn was saying himself. Maybe I reckon they probably saw this final coming, really.
Sorry, say that again?
I think they probably saw this final coming in terms of the amount they've just been practicing against each other and only each other.
Yeah.
I think they predicted either the final was coming or they would be against each other.
Yeah, that's true. And we were talking yesterday that Glenn and Wolf were practicing with each other, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they knew each other pretty well. And I'm surprised that even with Wolf practicing Glenn's decks, wasn't able to make more happen.
Exactly. That's but I mean, the draw he got. I mean, I know his draw wasn't perfect, but
that's very true. Yeah.
It's that we didn't see Virago. Was Virago in the decks he was playing today?
Which one?
Well,
Glenn's or Wolf's?
Any of them, really.
Yeah, Wolf had Virago. I mean, Wolf was... That's basically how he won all of his games with his sick Virago draws.
We didn't see it
but
today.
Didn't see it this game, no.
So, I mean, that actually might have been what it was, because he had, as you say, tailored the deck so much around that Virago, and when it didn't come out, it maybe showed the deck had weak points to it, whereas Glenn...
I don't know. I don't want to short sell Wolf.
I'm not short selling him.
Being like, he's the Virago guy. But
no, obviously
I mean, I think there is a possibility that the draws were against him.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's always going to be what happens. But 3 games with only 1 in Wolf's favor, that's fairly decent.
It's very, very decent indeed. I mean, and then we come to the final, you know, the Glenn versus YX. Oh, man.
And again, I was expecting YX to take that. I mean, just the way that we've seen him play, because he beat Toby 2-1. He beat SOCOM, crushed SOCOM 2-1. He beat Creakery 3-0 and just kind of hit the wall.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was not been as obviously as not as consistent is probably the wrong word. It's not been as overwhelming as YX is.
Yeah, that's very true.
Better bet.
But Glenn, he's showing himself, and I wonder if the tournament format has something to do with Glenn's success, because he's not a huge high-level ladder player. What is his rank in the ladder?
It's not. Not that high, I don't think. I know he's. I mean, maybe. I know he's top 10, isn't he? But he's not. He's not anywhere near.
Yeah, that's true. He is doing really well this season. But he didn't finish even in gold last season, I don't believe. But I don't know. Just the way that he played was this top-level play, and it was really neat to see him do that.
Perfect play. I mean, it's really strange to think, because I was actually going to mention this in the pre-tournament podcast, but I didn't get around to it. The fact is that these top players who we suspect to be at the top for long periods of time, like Wolf, for instance, if you look at RuneScape traditionally, there's always the big players like Zima, there's always the big players like... Wow, my memory is just gone. Well, obviously Boaty is known for his PKing, etc. He's been top of the PKing game for a while. Wooks, but with this game, I think we are pretty much per 3 seasons the top players are going to switch and switch and switch and switch and switch. In my opinion, I think Wolf will probably consistently be up there. Glenn will consistently be up there. Most of these competitors will be consistently up there, but
it's gonna come down to who continues to put time into the game.
Yes, exactly.
So.
I mean, as the game becomes less new and less of a thing where you know ranking is, with this many players, ranking is not easier, but it's more beneficial for yourself
to grind fest.
Yeah, exactly. And as that becomes more and more players, it will either see it go the way of people putting more time into it to really make sure that they're top, or people just going,
Yeah.
I'll just go for tournaments. I'll just I'll rank as much as I can, but I'll go for the open tournaments. I'll try and get myself known in the tournament scene, which is definitely coming, because I think
Yeah. And that was really awesome to hear Merchant talking about how he's excited to get tournaments started.
definitely.
That I think is going to be a huge push to get people into Chronicle. And it'll be interesting to see, do people like Wolf and Unforgiven and Glenn and YX, do they stick around once this tournament scene happens? Is that something they get into hardcore, or do they fall away and people who are into tournaments and making this like a career almost pop up into the top levels?
There is always a possibility of people dropping out, but I am not 100% sure they will. I'm sorry. I am not. I am not totally sure they won't leave the scene. I think they probably will.
Right.
They will stay with the scene for the simple reason that they are the pinnacles at this point. Sin a bit, by the way, George. Sorry, thanks for coming in.
Good night.
The thing is that they are for a better term of the word, meta of the tournament scene.
Yeah, for sure. At the moment, for sure they are. I mean, there's no way that you can argue that they aren't the ones setting the meta. Just the way that we've seen the tournament go over the past few days, and who's on the top of the ladder. These guys are seriously the ones setting the meta, and that's one of the things we wanted to showcase with this tournament was who's setting the meta and how are the cards being used in their current balance. And it was really neat to see.
I know it's beautiful to see as the tournament. The tournament did exactly what it needed to do. It showcased.
Yeah, I think it really did.
It really did. I think it did it in a way that nobody could predict as well, in terms of Jagex then saying, well, as Merchant said himself, he probably, he speaks for himself obviously, and he's trying to push for this. He's concentrating mainly on esports scene. He's concentrating mainly on these scenes and on these tournament scenes because one, this went so well. I mean, this game's been open. Sorry, I've just realised my mouse was on your nose.
Look at that.
Yeah, all good. It's gonna. This is quite sad actually. What I'm doing here, I was just playing with my mouse. The fact is that. Yeah, this game is perfect for that. This game is perfect for the tournament scene. So they're trying to push that. And as you say, people can and probably will make careers out of this in a few years.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how it sticks around. Because, I mean, if we talk about Hearthstone for a little bit, Hearthstone has been out for 2 years, I think, now. And we've seen that go huge in the tournament scene. I mean, it's backed by Blizzard, and Blizzard is a big company in itself. Certainly bigger than Jagex, I would say, as far as value-wise. But that's not to short sell Jagex, that they're not able to make something as successful and as large as Hearthstone has become with the people that we've got behind it, with the type of game that it is, not having a whole lot of overlap. I think this has the potential to take off.
I think it will. And I think it won't take as long as, however weird this sounds, I don't think it'll take as long as Hearthstone. I think in terms of size it will, but in terms of following of the amount of tournaments and getting onto the esports scene, obviously with the backing of Blizzard, it took no time at all. But if we look at stuff like RuneScape, that was like, oh shit, it's on the esports scene. I thought it just came out. But in terms of we see OSRS now on the esports scene, and that's going to help Chronicle massively because it's literally just like the first tournament went really, really well for OSRS. They're going to look at this and they're going to probably watch these tournament backs and go, okay, we can see exactly why they want to do that.
We can make this bigger, for sure. Because, I mean, it went well. It was a decent run tournament. We averaged 60, 70 people watching each night, and that's fantastic for a first time. Something that I put together. That's exciting. However, it has so much bigger potential than that.
Amount of potential, and
it's really exciting to see that this is like actually a valid. Yeah, this game is exciting to watch.
I mean, how long has it been since it's been released now? It's 20 something of March, wasn't it? Open beta. I mean, 20.
I don't remember.
I want to say a week and a bit now.
I counted down to the open beta. I haven't looked back.
God, why do I have you on? This is the question. I'm kidding, of course. I think, I don't know. Someone will correct me on track. It can't be longer than a month though. Definitely not. It's within the weeks.
I don't think so. Because I mean, we just finished the 14-day season, and I don't remember if that started when it first came out.
I think it was a day after it came out, possibly.
So it's been less than 3 weeks, I think, maybe 4 weeks.
And we've already got close to a ton of viewers watching every stream. It's. And the thing is as well, the Twitch side of things is going to push this game forward as well.
That is very true.
Sorry, carry
Just
on.
continue to, yeah, I would say for everyone watching, continue to support, watch viewers on Twitch. If they're streaming, pop in, say hi, cheer them on.
Watch it for the game and get to know the casters, because a lot of the casters, a lot of the broadcasters, I know there's 4 off the top of my head who are seasoned streamers in the category. I can't think of any more than 4 who are consistent Hearthstone streamers, you know. Jaggerus, obviously Injection, myself, I'd say I'm seasoned. I wouldn't say I'm any good, but I'm seasoned. And who else? There is one more, I just can't remember who it was. I mean, Bundy has been streaming for a while, but I wouldn't say. Well,
there's a number of people who have been starting to stream. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's continuing to grow.
That's what I mean. It's they're new streamers, so give them a chance as well to find their
Yeah,
feet.
for sure.
And there's been some beautiful streaming stories coming out of this. People like I know he's in the chat somewhere. I think he was in the chat anyway. He was in the chat earlier, which was X Hayes Purple X. He's one of those channels that's come out of nowhere and is sitting on about 400, 500 followers at the moment, and that's just from streaming.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a really, really good streamer, and he's come out of pretty much. I think he streamed like one game for a few weeks before this, but he came into this and really made it his own. And
that's awesome.
yeah, it's just the best thing to hear. And the thing is, it's not a community where you're where it's the top streamers and it's only ever the top streamers. I mean, for maybe the first few days when I was doing it, the only reason I was hitting close to the top was because I had viewers from my older games. But there was newer streamers who were there with pretty much the same amount of viewers, just Chronicle watchers, and that's so good to see. I actually want people to take me over in viewers and stuff like that. I mean, I don't get a huge amount, obviously, but I get up there in the category. I want people to take me over because I want there to be people who want to stream because of this game and who get successful because of this game. I mean, that's what you want to happen, surely.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as people continue to stream, the streams will get better, and as Jagex continues to support the community, which I think they do a fantastic job of.
Just the best company I know games-wise that does it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is definitely, the streaming is going to take off, tournaments are going to take off. I think there's a lot of growth for this game.
Exactly, and talking of taking off in strange ways, this is a little plug for the new channel that is being created. As you can see in the corner, it's called Chronicle Cast. That might change. That was just me trying to think of a name for the title, for the stream. While I love the fact you looked up into the corner, just your eyes. He's gone. He's gone.
Checking it up.
Yeah, yeah. He's actually got it imprinted on his wall. It's quite weird. But yeah, no, we're starting a podcasting channel. I also know that. What's the name of the other dude that's doing it? Ryan, isn't it? Is doing it as well. Ryan N.
Oh yeah,
podcasting as well. He's starting a podcasting channel as well. So I mean, there's a lot of new podcasts coming out there. There'll be a lot of. I mean, from us at least, I know that Glenn. It's basically me, you, Glenn, and Bundy at the moment, who are the four guys who will be doing this on the channel. We will obviously be getting people in as well here and there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think, to be honest, it's just going to become sort of your probably. To be fair, it might even move into your SparkMat Lives kind of stuff, where you've got and obviously Chris Archie stuff, where we're getting clips of the week, we're getting viewer submissions. I think that would be awesome to do. Just a little bit of a selfless plug there for us.
Hey, that is okay. On the channel, you can plug whoever you want, even yourself.
Exactly. I'm now going to plug Jesus because he is all around us, of course. I'm not actually. I'm going to maybe not go into religion right now. The chat will go insane. So if there's anyone in chat who wants to contribute and into the games and stuff and just sort of give their thoughts, please do type in. Type in. That does sound like a call-in, but really weird. I feel like we should have jingles. Okay, so I reckon we should look ahead to because this stream is a roundup of the tournament, obviously, but it's also looking ahead.
Yep.
And I reckon we should look ahead to the little bit of the updates. I know there'll be a podcast next week coming out about the updates, but I mean. Just in a nutshell, what do you think about the updates that are coming out?
The very first thing that comes to mind is the Ogre Brute. It is the most pew-pewed over card because it is annoying for new players to play against. Merchant was talking about that earlier. If a card is unfun, they're going to change it.
Of course.
So while we've seen it in this tournament, it has been, I don't think we saw a single game where it was really, really, really effective.
No.
We saw some where it was decent.
I mean,
but we've seen several games.
It did
where
do
it was
quite well in
bad.
the game, exactly. And I can't remember who was playing, but it did do quite well in the game of the other two Dust Devils as well. But the Dust Devils did actually affect that so much. It wasn't OP in the tournament, but I think, to be honest, it's OP at lower levels. That's the issue. It's OP at the the climbing of the
in
ladder.
the bronze level, and as you're starting out with the game, it's just a bad card to come up against on your ladder for your first weekend to keep people in the game. Yeah, I mean, I can see that card getting nerfed, but once you get to the higher levels, so
I mean, maybe as we heard from Merchant on the precast, it's going to turn into more of a strike, isn't it? Or no, it's exhaust.
exhaust,
Which I think is, it's good because it's still relatively OP if it hits, and if it is effective.
It's got a place.
Yeah.
Will we see it in tournament decks anymore? I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But if it's just exhaust, as they explore the exhaust mechanic a little bit more, I think we might be able to see it come out. And there might be cards that end up being better than it that have the exhaust mechanic built into them. But I don't know. Time will tell.
Exactly what I was going to say. I think the Yogi Brute may actually be outclassed at some point, but we don't know that for sure. Next, I suppose we have the OSRS cards.
I actually don't know a whole lot.
No, I know. I was hoping you did because I know literally nothing. I'm going to quickly go and try and find a link. We will move on to something else then. I think we should move on to the. Do you know much about the ranking systems? New ranking systems coming out?
I know that they've said they're going to change it up. I don't know whether they have said that it's going to be the ELO based system, which I think is going to probably help make it a little less grindy to climb the ladder, which is good. So it'll be a little more reflective of people's actual skill rather than people's, I've won 100, 2,000 games, and so I'm really super high on the ladder. So it'll be an interesting change.
Yeah.
Is it going to affect the way people perceive the game? Probably. And so I think it'll be a good thing for it.
I think it's going to bring a hell of a lot more new players in because OSRS community especially, who doesn't want to play Zora, to be fair? Yeah. I mean, it's got to be played. It's got to be played completely. We are getting a little bit of lag because I've opened this. I'm trying to find this link to new OSRS cards. I believe it's probably going to be in the forums, isn't it, somewhere?
I have no idea. I would say just to table that until we know more about it, because I personally don't know anything about it. So we just be blowing steam.
Exactly. I suppose you have had barely is now a word. Barely any time at all to look at it while you've been organising this tournament. Quite rightly.
Yeah,
to be fair.
That's true. That's very true.
I mean, to be honest, I think we could probably call it a day there if you want. Unless there's anything else you want to say, because I don't think there's any point dragging this one out because we are now moving into the territory of the next week's podcast. Which I reckon I've talked to Glenn about this a little bit. We've said something about a Saturday cast. I'm not sure. I personally don't think we should do it on YouTube. On Twitch, I think we should pre-record because then the quality is going to be better and stuff. But
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
And let people know. So
exactly, we will be getting out there. I'm in a process of making a group Twitter for the channel, so I'm guessing we'll be using that on our own personal Twitters as well. Thank you for coming down. This has been Pakosco and
Tyflkw. Thanks you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you more in the future.
Definitely, and we will try and keep these on going in a way on Twitch, in some format, maybe just a weekly. I don't know, interview scenario.
Talk through something.
Round up, talk through. Maybe get a few of the players on, see what we can do there. Peace out. See you next week, and congratulations to Glenn and the beard stroke to finish. You fuck.